I made 30 American friends in just 1 month. No classes, no apps, just chunks. Today, I am showing you every single chunk I used. The first 10 are the most powerful. Let's go. Okay, real talk. Last month, I challenged myself. Could I make 30 new friends using only English chunks? Not full sentences, not grammar, just chunks. And honestly, I didn't think it would work. But here's what happened. Day one was terrifying. I walked into a coffee shop, saw someone reading a book, and my brain froze. But then I remembered chunk number one. I said, that book looks interesting. That's it. 4 words. The person looked up, smiled, and we talked for 20 minutes. One chunk, one new friend. That's when I realized this actually works. Now, before I show you all 30 chunks, let me tell you why this method is so powerful. When you learn full sentences, your brain has to translate. English sentence in your head. Translate to your language. Translate back, then speak. It's slow, it's awkward, and people lose interest. But with chunks, your brain doesn't translate. You just use them, like building blocks. That looks interesting as one block. What do you think about as another block? You put them together, and suddenly, you're speaking. So here's the promise for today. I'm giving you the exact 30 chunks I used. 10 for starting conversations, 10 for keeping conversations going, and 10 for building real friendships. But here's the thing, you cannot skip ahead. The first 10 chunks get you into conversations. The next 10 keep people interested. But the final 10, those are the game changers. Chunk number 27 is the reason half my friendships became real. If you skip to the end, you'll miss why it works. So stick with me, all 30 chunks in order. Because by the end, you'll have everything you need to make your own 30 friends. Sound good? Then let's dive into the first 10. All right. Starting conversations. This is where most people freeze. You see someone you want to talk, but you don't know how to start. So let me give you the 5 chunks that never fail. Chunk 1. That looks interesting. Use this when someone has something, a book, a laptop, a phone, anything. That looks interesting. It's non-threatening, it's a compliment, and it opens the door. I used this chunk 9 times, and it worked every single time. Chunk 2. How's your day going? This is better than how are you. Why? Because how are you gets I'm fine. But how's your day going gets a story. People will tell you about their morning, their work, their plans. Suddenly, you're in a conversation. Chunk 3. I love this place. Use this anywhere. Coffee shops, parks, bookstores. I love this place. It's positive, it's relatable, and people agree with you. When people agree, they feel connected. That's when friendships start. Chunk 4. Is this seat taken? Simple, right? But here's the secret. After they say no, go ahead. You add chunk number 5. Chunk 5. By the way, I'm Mark. By the way makes it feel natural, not forced, not awkward, just casual. And when you introduce yourself, the other person always introduces back. Now you're not strangers anymore. Those 5 chunks got me 15 new friends in week 1. 15 people. 5 chunks. That's the power of this method. But wait, because here's what most people do. Wrong. They start a conversation. It goes well for 2 minutes. Then silence. Awkward silence. And the person walks away. That's why the next 10 chunks are even more important than the first 5. These are the chunks that kept people talking to me for 20, 30, even 40 minutes. Stick with me because chunk number 12 is how I met my best friend here. Now, let's talk about keeping conversations going. Because starting is one thing, but if the conversation dies after 2 minutes, you're back to 0. So here are the next 10 chunks I used. Chunk 6. Tell me more about that. This is gold. When someone says anything interesting, you say this. Tell me more about that. It shows you're listening, you're interested, and you care. People love talking to someone who actually listens. Chunk 7. That sounds amazing. Use this when someone tells you about their job, their hobby, their trip. That sounds amazing. It's positive, it's encouraging, and it makes people feel good. And when people feel good around you, they want to be your friend. Chunk 8. How did you get into that? This is my favorite chunk. It works for everything. Someone mentions their job. How did you get into that? Someone talks about their hobby. How did you get into that? It keeps the conversation going, and you learn their story. Stories create connection. Chunk 9. What do you think about? This one is powerful because you can talk about anything. The coffee, the weather, the music playing, the book they're reading. What do you think about this coffee? What do you think about this song? It's easy, it's flexible, and it works every time. Chunk 10. Have you tried? This chunk is perfect for sharing. Have you tried the cookies here? Have you tried that new park? When you share something, you're building trust. And trust is the foundation of friendship. Chunk 11. I'm curious. Now, this chunk almost got me in trouble. Let me explain. Week 1. I used this with someone at a gym. I'm curious. Why do you work out so early? They thought I was weird. They gave me a short answer and left. I felt terrible, but then I realized my mistake. I used it too soon, before building rapport. So here's the rule with I'm curious. Use it after you've talked for a few minutes, not as your first question. When used correctly, it shows you're thinking, you're engaged. I'm curious, why did you choose that? I'm curious, what's your favorite part? Timing matters. Curiosity makes people feel valued, but only when there's already connection. Chunk 12. That reminds me of, this is how I met my best friend here. Coffee shop, week 2. I sat next to someone. We started talking. They mentioned they loved hiking. I said, that reminds me of this trail back home. It had the most incredible view. Suddenly, we're talking about mountains, nature, adventure. We talked for 30 minutes. Then they said, we should hike together sometime. That hike turned into weekly coffee. Weekly coffee turned into real friendship, all because of one chunk. That reminds me of, when you relate their story to your experience, you find common ground. And common ground is where friendships begin. Chunk 13. What's your take on? This is smart sounding but easy to use. What's your take on working from home? What's your take on this city? It makes you sound thoughtful, and people respect that. Chunk 14. I totally get that. This shows empathy. When someone shares something personal, you say this. I totally get that. It makes them feel understood. And when people feel understood, they open up more. Chunk 15. Same here. This is the fastest way to build connection. When you find something in common, you say this. Oh, you like coffee? Same here. You're learning English? Same here. Shared interests. Create instant bonds. Okay, so far we've covered 15 chunks. 5 for starting, 10 for keeping conversations alive. But here's the brutal truth. You can talk to someone for an hour, laugh together, share stories, and if you don't use the final 15 chunks, they're just a stranger you talked to once. I learned this the hard way. In my first week, I had amazing conversations with 12 people, but only 3 of them became actual friends. Why? Because I didn't know these next 15 chunks yet. I had great conversations, but I never took the next step. I never asked for their number. I never suggested meeting again. I just said goodbye and left. And I never saw them again. So now, I'm giving you the exact chunks that turned conversations into real friendships. The ones that got me phone numbers, coffee meetups, and friends I still see today. And chunk number 27. This one changed everything for me. Stay with me. Chunk 16. We should grab coffee sometime. This is the bridge from conversation to friendship. Don't wait for them to suggest it. You suggest it. We should grab coffee sometime. Most people will say yes because you made it easy for them. Chunk 17. What's your number? After they say yes to coffee, you need their contact. What's your number? Simple, direct, no awkwardness. The first time I used this, I was shaking. I thought they'd say no, but you know what happened. They smiled, pulled out their phone, and gave me their number. Just like that. Turns out, most people want to exchange numbers. They're just waiting for you to ask. Chunk 18. Let me know when you're free. This shows you're flexible. You're easygoing. It takes the pressure off. Let me know when you're free. Then, they reach out and you meet up. Chunk 19. Thanks for chatting with me. Use this at the end of your first conversation. Thanks for chatting with me. It's polite, it's warm, and it leaves a good impression. People remember how you made them feel. Chunk 20. It was great meeting you. Similar to chunk 19, but more personal. It was great meeting you. This signals, I enjoyed this. I want to see you again. Now, here's where most people quit. They get the phone number, exchange contact, but then they never text. They think, what do I say? When do I text? What if they don't respond? So they do nothing, and the friendship dies before it even starts. That's why chunk 21 is crucial. Chunk 21. How have you been? This is for the second time you see them or text them. How have you been? It shows you remember them. You're interested in their life. That's when strangers become friends. I texted this to someone 3 days after we met. They responded immediately. We met for coffee the next week. Now we see each other twice a month. Don't let fear stop you from texting first. Chunk 22. I've been thinking about what you said. This is powerful. When you reference something from your last conversation, it shows you were listening. I've been thinking about what you said about. People feel seen, and that builds deep connection. Chunk 23. Want to join me for This moves from coffee to activities. Want to join me for lunch? Want to join me for a walk? Shared experiences. Create strong friendships. Chunk 24. I'm so glad we met. Use this when you feel a real connection. I'm so glad we met. It's honest, it's vulnerable, and it deepens the friendship. Chunk 25. Let's do this again soon. This keeps the momentum going. After hanging out, you say this. Let's do this again soon. It shows you value the friendship. Chunk 26. I really appreciate you. This is for when someone does something nice. They help you, they listen to you, they support you. I really appreciate you. Gratitude strengthens bonds. Chunk 27. You're so good at. Okay, this is the chunk that changed everything. Week 3. I met someone at a bookstore. We talked about books for 15 minutes. Nice conversation, but nothing special. Then, as we were leaving, I said this. You're so good at making people feel heard. They stopped, turned around, looked at me, and said, Nobody's ever told me that before. We got coffee the next day, then lunch, then became real friends. Why did this chunk work so well? Because most compliments are about things. Nice shirt. Cool phone. I like your hair. Those are fine, but they're surface level. But when you compliment someone's character, you're so good at listening. You're so good at explaining things. You're so good at being thoughtful. That hits different because you're not seeing what they have. You're seeing who they are. And when people feel truly seen, they remember you forever. This chunk turned 10 conversations into real friendships for me. Use it. Chunk 28. I was wondering if you'd like to. This is for planning things together. I was wondering if you'd like to see a movie. I was wondering if you'd like to try that restaurant. When you plan together, you're building a real friendship. Chunk 29. That's exactly how I feel. This validates their feelings. When someone shares something emotional, you say this. That's exactly how I feel. Emotional connection is the deepest kind. And finally, a chunk 30. I'm lucky to know you. This is the ultimate friendship chunk. Use it when you feel truly grateful for someone. I'm lucky to know you. It's powerful, it's honest, and it creates a friendship that lasts. So there you have it. 30 chunks, 30 friends. 1 month. Here's what I learned. Most people want to be friends. They're just waiting for you to start. You don't need perfect English. You just need to try. And one conversation can change everything. Now your turn. Pick 3 chunks from this video. Use them this week with one person. Then comment which chunk worked best. That looks interesting. Tell me more about that. Chunk 27, drop it below right now. Which chunk are you trying first? Because watching changes nothing. Using these chunks changes everything. I made 30 friends in 30 days. You can too. Go out there. Start one conversation today. Use chunk number 1. I'm Mark. This is English Flow. Now go make some friends. See you next time.